Alright, what's going on everybody? This is PokeSam coming at you with another video. I did want to do a little bit different of a video. I am going to upload another video later that's going to be an opening video like regular, but I did want to make a little informative video on how to spot fake versus real Pokemon cards. So I know this is a little bit of an issue, especially if you hang around a lot of card shops, especially with new collectors or maybe younger kids or people that are buying their kids Pokemon cards that don't know a lot about them. A lot of these fakes tend to pop up and then people bring them to like trade events or league nights and they get really disappointed when people tell them that they are not real cards. So I did want to make this a quick little just informative video. My main purpose behind making this video is so that people know when they go to trade nights to look out for these things. Not that people are intentionally trying to scam you, they might really just not know. But these are things to look out for and things that you can look through your collection for. If you're a newer collector, these might have snuck in at trade nights. And the other really important thing is that if you are a player of the game, you cannot play with these fake cards in real tournaments. You have to use authentic cards, so that's another important thing. So I wanted to start with kind of like the most obvious type of fake, and that is just cards that look absolutely nothing like authentic Pokemon cards. I mean, you'd have to be pretty ignorant to look at this and be like, yep, that's a Pokemon card. Obviously, you know, this is what the regular common TCG cards look like. Here these are side by side. You can tell they are pretty different. One of the biggest giveaways for something, if you know absolutely nothing about it, if there's something like this misspelled on it, trying to get my camera to focus here. I don't know if you can read this down here. It says enter key. It does not say enter G. Come on. Well, maybe I'll come back to it, but that says enter key, and that is obviously misspelled. So that is a number one thing to look out for. If you see a card and something is blatantly misspelled on it and it's not a known misprint, that is a red flag for you that there might be something up there. The other thing about this is the back is completely off. Like the art, I guess they kind of tried, but like who is Coco? Nobody knows. Obviously, these don't look anything alike if you put them next to each other. Not only are the colors off, I mean, the whole thing is off, like, that ain't it. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know who Coco is, but apparently these are the Coco cards. The next one I wanted to show you side by side are Rainbow Rares. These are probably the ones that I see that pop up the most often. I think a lot of people get these when they buy lots on, like, Amazon or Wish.com or something, and they just come in usually just like these little cardboard boxes just stacked full of these fakes. So one thing to look out for is that these Rainbow Rares should have texture on them. I'll show you a real one here in just a moment, side by side so you can see, but you can see that this completely lacks texture. It's totally glossy, like there's nothing going on there. Another red flag for me is if I look at a card and it's like pretty difficult to read just from, you know, the holo foiling, that's a red flag for me because it's a card game. They're going to want you to be able to read these cards, and if you're looking at a card and it might be a little bit difficult to read, the words are kind of washed out, that's a red flag for sure. And I'll put this next to a real one, like I said, but you can tell by looking at the back side by side that the colors are kind of off. Like the cut is just strange looking. It doesn't look quite right at the bottom. So let me pull out a real Rainbow Rare here. We'll take a look at Dancer from Fusion Strike. So here's that. You can sort of see the texturing. There you go. You can see it there at that angle. You can see that there's some pretty detailed texturing going on. It's much sparklier. This is that fake Rayquaza GX just next to it so you can see. The borders are different. I mean, granted, this was a different era of Pokemon that they're faking here, but same general things apply. Like, it's just going to look a lot higher quality. You know, the real one next to the fake one. Here's the backs of them for you. And again, the backs, I guess to the untrained eye, they might look pretty similar. I don't know if you can tell on camera so great, but this one's a little bit lighter, a little bit more washed out, a little bit pinkish looking. This one's the authentic card here on the right, and this is the fake on the left. So I'll show you the fronts one more time. And again, these are the most common fake ones that I see are these Rainbow Rares. So just really watch out for that if you're at some kind of event or something. They're really difficult to tell, especially when they're in kind of those, like, not glossy sleeves like the ones that come in the ETBs here that are sort of frosty. When you put these cards in there, you really it's more difficult to tell. Like if you put an authentic Rainbow Rare card in one of those sleeves, it almost like washes out the texture on them and you can't see it. So that's another way that these sometimes slip in without people noticing. The next one I want to talk about is gold cards. Here's an example of a fake gold card. I don't think I need to say too much about this. If you know anything about Pokemon, obviously that is not a Mewtwo and Mew Tag Team GX. That is Lucario, and it is a fan art at that. That's not real artwork from Pokemon. I mean, it looks cool, I guess, but obviously this is not a real card. The back is completely solid gold with just kind of this, like, etched out Pokemon logo. On the real gold cards, there's only a few, I think 4 now, authentic, like this kind of, I don't know if you can tell, this is like actually metal. There's only 4 authentic metal gold cards right now, and those are the 2 base set Pikachu and base set Charizard reprints that were in the Celebrations EPC, and the 2 new that came, or is it just 1? I don't know, I didn't buy one yet, but the metal cards that came in the Arceus premium collection recently. Those, to my knowledge, are the only metal cards that are licensed by Pokemon. Any of these other ones that you see that are metal and gold floating around are fake. They might look cool, but they are not licensed. So the other kind of gold cards that are fake that I see floating around, they look very similar to this, but they're much thinner and they're kind of plasticky. So I did want to show you because they do look very similar next to a real gold card, what those would look like. So this is a real gold card. Again, you can see that it's got that texturing going on. It's very sparkly. It almost looks glittery. It looks very nice. That's a very nice little angle there in the light. But next to this, you can tell the obvious quality difference here. And again, this is one of the metal ones, but the other ones look very similar. And honestly, they look even more obviously fake to me because they're like extra etched out, trying to look in the background, and it just doesn't quite look right, and I think sometimes even the dimensions are not correct. So, fake gold card, real gold card. Next, I did want to show you an example of like a fake common. So this is a Machoke that is supposedly, I think from like the Diamond and Pearl era, which if that were the case, the borders are completely wrong. Diamond and Pearl, I believe, has those little like white cutouts sort of next to here. Sorry, I wasn't able to grab one of those to show you. But you can see the text is not right, the text is sort of off. The photo looks kind of washed out, like somebody just scanned it in. And this one's really beat up, but the color of the back is not right either. And again, here's a regular common next to it. You can see the fake is much lighter in this case. Here's the fronts, so you can kind of compare and contrast. And you can see that like they tried with the font, but like it's not quite there. So these pop up, I would say, less often than like this kind, but they are out there. The older generations, these were more common. And then the last type of card I wanted to show you before I show you some ways to kind of determine between the two that are a little bit more fine detail are like fake EX cards. So here's an example of 2 that were supposed to be Gyarados EX. Obviously this one, like this card doesn't even have yellow borders, so did they even try? Not really. Again, the back is not right. The front is not right. It's just totally lacking any of the shine that normal EX cards have. Kind of the same with this one. Like, they sort of just straight up scanned the card, it looks like, on this. It's really lacking any of that normal shine. I think this one's kind of not the right size. The cut is awful. Like, I know that the cards get miscut, but this is really bad. Like somebody took a cookie cutter to it or something. So let me show you. I have a Volcanion EX that I can show you like for comparison, so you see what I mean by like the shine. So you see how it kind of has that like rainbowy hollow foil reflectiveness to it. These just lack that entirely. You can see that this is much higher quality. The gloss is much nicer on it. You can really see it on that EX box down there. Actually, you can almost see, I think, on this card where the scanner like caught a bit of shine, but now it's just like part of the image. So that's fun. So to kind of end things off, I wanted to show you a couple ways Actually, I think just one or two ways. Yeah, that's a couple. What am I talking about? Come on, Sam. Ways that I kind of look at cards and determine just at a glance if I can tell that they're real or fake. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to capture this very well on my camera. But I am able to show you because this card was already ripped. So you can look really close. Don't rip your cards. Don't do that. It's a no-no. This one was already done. But if you look really closely on the edge of the cards, you can see a very, very thin black print line. I'll show you what that looks like if the card were ripped open. You can see here the black print line. That is nearly impossible to replicate for like scammers or people making fake cards. So this print line is only going to exist, to my knowledge, on authentic Pokemon cards. Let me show you, because these were also ripped open, what some fakes might look like. Again, I'm not really sure that you can see on the camera, but sometimes they're like this gross cardboard color inside, like somebody straight up printed on like a cereal box or something. I'm not really sure what's going on there. Or more commonly, they just look like this, just flat white inside, and you might be able to see this on the camera. Let me see if it'll focus on the edge at all. Yeah, there you go. You can see that there is no black print line at all. That is definitely a telltale for me. And again, just a review, I think the other real telltale way is just that that lack of texturing. So like I'll show you on the rainbows again. The fake has absolutely no texturing at all. It's totally flat, glossy. In fact, it feels to the touch a bit plasticky. The real one has this really fine texture on it. You can feel it when you run your finger across the card. You can see it. It's a pretty night and day difference between these two. So I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions about any of the cards, feel free to reach out. If you have any additional comments, feel free to leave them below. Thanks for watching.